At the University of North Carolina, Griffith started off studying to be a preacher, a Moravian minister, to be exact. He had grown up attending church every Sunday, and the ministry felt like a noble calling. But preaching wasn't his true passion. Music and theater were. He shifted paths, joining an elite music fraternity and starring in campus operettas. He was good, really good. Critics from the local paper even started attending student performances just to see him. But after graduation, he didn't rush off to Broadway or Hollywood. America loved Andy Griffith. On screen, he was the calm, wise, small-town sheriff everyone wanted as a neighbor. Off-screen, his story was much darker and far more complicated. It all started in the unlikeliest of places, a tiny town in North Carolina called Mount Airy. Andy Griffith was born into poverty so severe that his parents had to send him to live with relatives just to make ends meet. His father worked as a carpenter, barely scraping together enough money to support the family. They couldn't even afford a crib when Andy was born. He slept in dresser drawers instead. But even in the bleakest of moments, young Andy found a way to escape, not through rebellion or resentment, but through music. Griffith clung to records and radio broadcasts the way others might cling to a lifeline. Big band music, classical performances, gospel choirs. He absorbed it all. His fascination with music became a passion, and he later credited it with saving him from despair. As he got older, he realized something else. He could make people laugh. That gift became his armor, his escape, and eventually his career. But not right away, at home. He taught drama at a high school. It seemed like he might settle into a quiet life, but fate had other plans. In 1953, Griffith recorded a humorous monologue titled "What It Was Football." It was simple, a country preacher describing a football game he clearly didn't understand. But the skit struck a nerve, and it rocketed him into the public eye, landing in the top 10 on the music charts. The record sold nearly 1 million copies, and suddenly, Andy Griffith was a name to watch. He transitioned to acting almost seamlessly, scoring a hit with the TV version of No Time for Sergeants. Then came Broadway. Critics loved him. Audiences adored him. He didn't even need to say a word, they said. Just walk on stage and make eye contact. His physicality, timing, and down-home charm made him a natural. But while his talent earned him a Tony nomination, he still lost out to another actor. It wouldn't be the last time Andy Griffith finished second. Griffith's film debut came in A Face in the Crowd, where he played Larry Lonesome Rhodes, a charismatic but dangerously unhinged drifter. It was a jarring departure from his real-life persona. Raw, explosive, even frightening, and it proved something vital. Andy Griffith wasn't just a folksy comic. He had serious dramatic range. But it scared producers more than it impressed them. Studios didn't know what to do with him. They wanted the smiling, simple country boy, not the intense, complicated anti-hero. He returned to familiar territory with No Time for Sergeants. This time, the movie version. And it gave him more than a paycheck. It gave him Don Knotts. The two hit it off instantly, forming one of television's most enduring friendships. On screen, they were magic. Off screen, they were inseparable. Knotts would later say that Griffith was the big brother he never had. But their friendship wasn't without complications. As Knotts' fame grew, Griffith struggled with quiet jealousy. He adored Don, but watching him win multiple Emmys while he himself went unrecognized stung. Insiders say that Andy sometimes pulled back emotionally when the spotlight shifted away from him. Despite this, their bond endured. Griffith remained loyal, and when Knotts passed away in 2006, Griffith was devastated. He delivered a private eulogy, calling Don the funniest man I ever knew. cruel. He demanded professionalism from everyone around him. Rumors swirled about tensions between Griffith and his co-star Frances Bavière, who played Aunt Bee. Bavière was said to be reclusive and sensitive, while Griffith was known to assert control on set. The two reportedly clashed over script changes and acting styles, and their relationship never quite thawed, even after the show ended. Despite the friction, Griffith fiercely protected the integrity of The Andy Griffith Show. When CBS pushed for broader humor or more slapstick, Griffith resisted. He believed in the quiet power of character-driven storytelling. That belief paid off, cementing the show's legacy as one of the most beloved series in television history. In 1967, after 8 seasons, Griffith walked away. He was tired of Mayberry, tired of being overlooked, tired of playing it safe. He hoped to reignite his film career, but nothing landed. Every new series he tried, The Headmaster, The New Andy Griffith Show, Salvage One, flopped. His marriage collapsed, and then, in the early 1980s, tragedy struck. He was diagnosed with guillain-barré syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that left him paralyzed from the knees down. For 7 months, he couldn't walk. Most people would have retired quietly. Griffith didn't. Instead, he staged one of the most surprising comebacks in TV history. In 1984, he appeared in the miniseries Fatal Vision as a cunning, sharp-witted attorney. Executives took notice. The role of Ben Matlock in a new legal drama was written with him in mind. Griffith wasn't sure. He didn't like the character, found him vain, cheap, a little too smug. But he took the job anyway. Matlock premiered in 1986 and ran until 1995. It became Griffith's second defining role. He poured everything into it, spending weekends memorizing lengthy courtroom speeches, rehearsing tirelessly, and often delivering them in a single take, even while wearing painful knee braces. His commitment amazed everyone. He wasn't just phoning it in. Production to North Carolina to save money and save himself a cross-country flight every week. The show got 3 more seasons. In the background, his personal life had changed too. After 2 failed marriages, Griffith married actress Cindy Knight in 1983. This time, it stuck. They stayed together for the rest of his life. He'd finally found the kind of stability he once only played on TV. He never stopped loving music. He released gospel and country albums throughout his life. One, I Love to Tell the Story, even went platinum and finally earned him a Grammy. It was poetic. Music had been his first love, and it was music that finally gave him the award he'd always been denied for acting. Even into his later years, Griffith remained active behind the scenes. He lent his voice to documentaries, supported community theater projects in North Carolina, and even appeared in a few small guest roles. But the industry that once overlooked him continued to do so. He was rarely honored at major ceremonies. There was no Kennedy Center tribute, no Lifetime Achievement Emmy. And yet, the public never forgot him. Reruns of The Andy Griffith Show still air today, decades later, and younger generations continue to discover Mayberry's charm. Some modern creators even cite Griffith as an influence. His moral calmness echoed in characters like Parks and Recreation's Ron Swanson or Stranger Things' Sheriff Hopper. In interviews near the end of his life, Griffith was asked how he felt about never receiving Hollywood's top honors. His answer was simple. "I don't need statues to know I mattered," he said. "When someone tells me they named their son Andy because of me, that's better than any award." In 2000, he underwent quadruple bypass surgery. In 2007, he fractured his hip. Then, in 2012, came the final blow, a heart attack. Griffith passed away at the age of 86. No fanfare, no star-studded farewell. Per his wishes, there was no public funeral. He was buried just 5 hours after his death, quiet, private, humble, just the way he lived. Andy Griffith played sheriffs, lawyers, and Southern gentlemen, but behind every role was a man who fought through disappointment, illness, and heartbreak to leave a legacy that was bigger than awards. He didn't just entertain America, he helped define it. And in the end, maybe that was the real victory.